Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and today I have something special for you. For those of you in my Discord, you already know the good news. We have been partnered by YouTube and in only 6 months. This is all thanks to you guys and your support of me and the channel. I cannot thank you enough. So I decided to make a video about myself and what brought me to make guides on YouTube. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video than normal. I hope you can stick with me. So I guess we should start a little Sov. The drunken mistake of a hippie and punk stoner. Just kidding, mum and dad. You weren't drunk and my dad wasn't punk. I have an actual photo of the old man dressed up in Rocky Horror Picture Show attire, but it's too explicit for YouTube, so I can't post it on there and I'm pretty sure he'd kill me anyway. And so we get back to little me. We had a very active household growing up. Lots of my parents' friends came over daily, all with their kids who were around both mine and my sister's age, so never a dull moment. We would play all day until it was time for everyone to leave. That's when the mums took the kids home and the dads stayed to set up their daily Dungeons & Dragons tabletop sessions. If you don't know what Dungeons & Dragons Tabletop is, I'll leave a link in the description with some information. It's a very vast game and will take up most of this video trying to explain. Basically the granddaddy of RPGs. Seeing all of the adults playing this game, I always wanted to join in, even from very young, and eventually they'd let me and my sister play. Now if anyone has played D&D before, you know it can be quite overwhelming, at first, with all the rules, let alone the 400 dice you have to get used to for each situation. Luckily my dad and his friends were very patient, as at this time we could not have been older than 8 years old. My first real experience in RPG gaming, and one of the most influential, as this is what piqued my interest in the lore of things, whether it be fantasy books or games of any kind. Now at the same time, my father had his beloved PC, where he would play games pretty much any time he could. This time I had my SNES and PS1 where I was playing games like Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger, and while FF7 had a massive impact on my life as a whole, and was one of the games that solidified my love of the RPG genre, what started to really interest me at this time was what my dad was playing. Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, Fallout 2, Diablo, and more importantly, Ultima Online. Now I'd never seen games like this before, and listening to my dad talk to his friends about these games was like nothing else. They would get so into the stories, all you could hear was excitement, talking about how BioWare and Black Isle Studios had given life to D&D. I didn't know at the time, but BioWare would become my favourite RPG developer of all time. That is until EA shat on them. But this is a happy video. Let's not get into depressing topics. Then I saw something different. My mum and dad are playing a game together on 2 different PCs. Now we are going back to 1999. I was about 9 years old, coming towards the end of baby school and into high school. A major tipping point in life. And I was about to be introduced to something that would kill socializing in real life outright for me completely. That game was Ultima Online. I started to play with my dad at the weekends, mainly trapping chests in town, waiting for people to blow up when trying to loot them, and then loot the person who blew up. That was pretty much all my 9-year-old self could do. Kind of sociopathic, but we all started somewhere. What I wasn't ready for was Dark Age of Camelot. Massive PvP battles between 3 realms. At this time it was known as RVR. This came out in 2001 and was my first real trek into the world of MMOs. I was 11 when this came out. My dad bought it straight away, even bought 2 new PCs with giant 17-inch CRT monitors. Top level tech boys, top level. Now this game I went balls deep into. Even taking days off school. We had bunk beds and I'd hide at the top right against the wall when my parents would come in to check if we'd all gone to school, etc. You just couldn't see me. So then they'd go to work and I'd sit there all day playing Dark Age of Camelot. Probably not the best thing, but I was pretty sneaky. Being the first chanter on my server hitting realm rank 12, if you know what that means, kudos to you. Then they added 13. The stories I have about this are vast, maybe even more than EVE Online, which is the next game I smashed out. Picking that up at beta with my old man, who ended up dropping the game as he really didn't like the fact he couldn't grind out levels. Everything was time gated. I met a group of people and started my journey through EVE Online, which had many years of betrayal, death, money loss, not to mention the 4 days of grinding IS to have one single PvP fight, only to die and lose my skills and having to relearn them. This game was seriously hardcore back in the day. Kind of a shadow compared to what it is today. But again, happy video. Many years went by, games came and went. Mass Effect, Dragon Age, insert BioWare title here, except Anthem, that was shocking. The Witcher, MMOs like WoW, Warhammer Online, Guild Wars, and many more were tried and dropped eventually. What always stuck was RPGs. RPGs were what I loved. I cannot sit there and play shooters, unless they have fantastic stories, which, let's face it, doesn't happen often. What dragged me in was the story, the lore, the character progression, the world art. All these things drew me in and continue to draw me in today. Granted, I haven't seen many RPGs in a good long while that have drawn me into the binge. Original Sin 1 and 2, Pathfinder Kingmaker, and other games were a few exceptions, but all we can do is hope that Baldur's Gate 3 will give us the spark we need to get back into isometric RPGs. But that's me and my gaming talked about. Let's go over why I started making guides. Over the years, I picked up many online guides to help with those elusive achievements and trophies that I just couldn't unlock or even find. Sometimes I just like reading and watching what others thought of the game and how they played it. But what I noticed, for the most part, was the filler bullshit. What could have been a 4-minute guide turned into a Let's Play episode. Watching 29 minutes of video for 30 seconds of what I needed. The closer we got to 2020, the more and more I would see this happen. Growing up, guides were what you needed to know, and that was it. So that's why I decided to make these guides for you all, to give you what information you need in a short and sweet style. I just want to thank you all again for all of your support, and I hope we can make a lot more content together in the future. Let me know down below what games made you an addict, what games started you down this long and lonesome road. Fly safe.